You know what I need you to do? Go on down and hit that subscribe button for daily and year-round coverage of the Philadelphia Eagles right here on Eagles Now from myself, Chase Sr. And with that, let's begin the show. Something special is happening right now in the city of Philadelphia because these young players are balling out for this team right now, really helping this defense make massive strides over the last 3 games. Is this Philadelphia Eagles defense legit? They've certainly played that way in this 3-game winning streak. And on today's show, we're going to go in-depth on Quinyon Mitchell, first pick in the 2024 NFL Draft. DeJean, the second pick from April's draft. The first-round pick from last year in Nolan Smith. Also, Jalen Carter, who was drafted in the first round a year ago as well. And Nakobe Dean, the third-rounder, who finally is rounding into form. And he's really playing like the player that we thought, that we envisioned he could be when he was coming out of Georgia, when he was the best linebacker in college football. So naturally, we pop up today's poll question, and I want to hear from you down in the comment section. Which young Eagles defender are you most impressed by? Drop me that name right now down below. As for the last 3 games, how about how this Philadelphia Eagles defense has played? They have been spectacular, and they've actually risen up to the occasion, and statistically, they've been one of the top defensive units in the National Football League. It all started coming out of the bye after that ugly game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and Philadelphia did not give up a touchdown against Cleveland. They notched 5 sacks of Deshaun Watson in that game. The following week, a lot of us are saying it was the Browns. They have a bad offensive line. Watson stinks. They go up against the New York Giants, divisional game. Oftentimes, divisional games are very close. Philadelphia, once again, spectacular. Didn't give up a touchdown again. And had 8 sacks of Daniel Jones. And then going into Sunday's matchup on the road in Cincinnati, where the Eagles had never won before, against Joe Burrow. When he's healthy, second best quarterback in the NFL, in my opinion, behind Patrick Mahomes. The Eagles give up a 17-play opening drive touchdown, which took more than 10 minutes off the clock. We're thinking this Eagles defense is fraudulent, but then they give up 10 points the rest of the game. And check out these Eagles defensive numbers right now going into Sunday's matchup against Jacksonville. And by the way, Eagles going to be rocking the Kelly Greens. Philadelphia is 7th among 32 teams in points per game allowed at 18.9, 7th in yards per game, just under 301 yards surrendered per matchup. They're giving up 5.1 yards per play. That is 6th in the National Football League. And their red zone scoring percentage defensively, meaning when teams get inside the 20, how often are they scoring a touchdown? Less than 43% of the time. That is 6th in the NFL. This is why the Eagles hired Vic Fangio. Because right now, Vic Fangio, who has seen everything and is one of the best defensive minds in the history of football, is coaching his ass off. He's helping to elevate his players. He's made alterations, adjustments, and changes to the scheme, and he's helping some of these young marquee players turn the corner. He's coaching them up, and there's nothing wrong with some tough coaching because sometimes that's what can bring the best out of his playmakers. And so, really in all facets, Vic Fangio is doing a great job, and we are seeing him put on a professor-like clinic on the defensive side of the ball, which circles back to how I began the show. Something special is happening with these building blocks on the defensive side of the ball, and Howie Roseman may have done something special for this organization. Quinyon Mitchell, DeJean, Nolan Smith, Jalen Carter, and Nakobe Dean. Let's begin with Quinyon Mitchell. Against Cincinnati, he was matched up against Jamar Chase a lot. Rarely targeted because Joe Burrow, in studying the film, realized that rookie out of Toledo is pretty damn good. 44 pass breakups the last 2 years in college. He really has good ball instincts. Targeted twice. Gave up 1 catch for 13 yards, no touchdowns, and a 70.8 passer rating, a team low by the Eagles starters. And look at how Mitchell has fared against some of the top wide receivers in football and the top wide receivers that the Eagles have had to face this year. Against Drake London, surrendered 5 yards. Against Chris Olave, gave up 23 yards. Against Mike Evans, Evans put up 19 yards. Amari Cooper, 10 yards. Malik Neighbors, only 9. And Ja'Marr Chase, 16 yards against the Eagles' first-round pick from April's NFL draft. And him alongside DeJean have really helped to lift this Eagles secondary. In every major statistical category last year, this Eagles defense was awful. And this isn't a hyperbolic statement. One of the worst defenses that I have seen in my entire existence on planet Earth. And I've been watching football since I was 5 years old when I fell in love with the midnight green uniforms and fell in love with the Philadelphia Eagles growing up outside of the city. And so for these rookies and these young players in general who we're talking about today to have this profound of an impact with how bad the Eagles were last year, the coaching is better, the players are better, the development is better, and the execution is there. And in the last 3 games, the top 2 picks from the 2024 class, they've been targeted 19 times since Cooper DeJean became starter. They've only given up 10 catches combined and 62 yards per next-gen stats. As for Cooper DeJean, he has a Pro Football Focus overall grade of 84.4. That is 4th among 201 corners in the NFL. His coverage grade is 87.2. That is 2nd among corners in the NFL. We know that he can be used as a blitzer. He's had some pressures. He's been in on the quarterback on a couple of occasions. He has 1 pass breakup and 2 TFLs. And he's made game-changing plays against the Browns when he stopped Elijah Moore from getting into the end zone on a play that he wonderfully and beautifully diagnosed and read pre-snap. And against the Cincinnati Bengals, a very similar play. 4th down, big spot in the game. We broke this play down yesterday. In case you didn't see it, this is just awesome. You see Ja'Marr Chase, yellow circle, Cooper DeJean, red circle, and it's 4th and short for Cincinnati on their side of the field. Now, the Eagles at this point weren't blowing out the Bengals. Zach Taylor deciding to go for it here. It was a risky call, but if the Bengals pick this up, do they gather momentum? Do they stage a comeback? Cooper DeJean said, not on my watch. So they put Ja'Marr Chase in motion from left to right as he lined up at the left side of the field. And here you can see he's going in motion. Cooper DeJean is following him. Once he gets in front of Joe Burrow, he wheels back to the left side. DeJean, as you can see right here, eye to eye with Ja'Marr Chase. He sees that. And then Chase will come back this way and then go around. So he kind of twirls around. So he starts off on the left side of the formation, goes in front of Burrow, goes back to the left side, and then wheels back to the right side in the flat. And you can see that developing right here, and Cooper DeJean is all over it. And then he's able to make a huge tackle in space, great form, good physicality, good speed, athleticism, and closing speed. And when you make a play like that, it causes for a pretty big separation. The Bengals sideline, very sad. That's what I wrote here. DeJean flexing on him, rocking the number 33, and all of his defensive teammates. They knew the significance of that down, the significance of that play during that ball game, and that is something to celebrate right there. Before we continue to move forward, we're going live tomorrow, Wednesday, right here on Eagles Now, so be sure to join us. And if you want to join us in the future, you can't join us tomorrow, that's fine. We go live every single Wednesday at 5:30 p.m. Eastern, 2:30 p.m. Pacific. We do a bunch of segments. We interact with the audience. We have a lot of fun. And, of course, anytime I'm in front of this camera on this microphone, I want to give you Eagles coverage that makes you think a little bit, where you can learn, where you can be informed. We have insightful coverage, but also we like to make people laugh and entertain you a little bit. So be sure to hit that subscribe button. Our sponsor for today, our friends at Game Time. If you're looking for an app where you can go to a bunch of events, sporting events, concerts, comedy shows, theater events, and you can save money and get the best seats, sounds like a no-brainer, right? Well, if that's the case, download the Game Time app. It's the only app that I use in the ticketing marketplace. They specialize in last-minute tickets where prices drop as the event gets closer. The user interface and how easy it is to use, big reasons why I love the Game Time app. So if you download the app and you create an account and you use the code CHATSPORTS, CHATSPORTS, you get $20 off. Terms apply. First purchase only. You can see the view from your seat before you buy, so you know exactly what to expect when you arrive. There are flash deals, there's game time ticketing insurance, and they guarantee you that you will get the lowest price guaranteed among all ticketing apps. And if you don't, you'll get your money back and then some. So once again, use that code CHATSPORTS, CHATSPORTS. Terms apply. First purchase only for $20 off. What time is it? It's game time. Next up, as far as a young bull who's been cooking for this Eagles defense during this 3-game winning streak, Nolan Smith. Eagles edge rusher Nolan Smith is turning the corner, and we're seeing him develop right before our very eyes. And what did I say before the year? People were freaking out about how he was playing deep into the preseason. They were saying that he was a bust. And I said, he is 23 years old. The ability is there. Quick first step, twitch, bend, closing speed. He was one of the more productive Eagles pass rushers during the preseason. And so when people were going off about him, it didn't make sense. He's inexperienced, and Vic Fangio knew he needed some more reps. Against the Bengals, he played 30 snaps, 52% for the game. Most in a game for him this year, second most in his career outside of the Week 18 game against the Giants last year. He has a pass rush grade, according to PFF this season, of 72.6. That is 26th among 191 edge rushers in the game. And over his last 3 matchups, he's had 2.5 sacks. And since Week 5, his pass rush win rate, 25%. That is 3rd in the NFL. His pass rush grade, 84, 3rd in the NFL. The Eagles this year needed a leap from Nolan Smith because they had questions at the pass rusher spot. He's been getting to the quarterback, and he's really fun to watch. With the energy that he brings to the field, his relentless pursuit, and his relentless hustle. Jalen Carter, this year he's been one of the top defensive tackles in the game. And the Eagles may have missed on Jordan Davis. Mixed results so far. 6'6", 340. We become obsessed with that, but he just doesn't really look to be that good of a football player. Maybe he's a late bloomer. Let's hope so. As for Carter, he bloomed last year, and that development has continued. His numbers also very impressive with what he's doing in his sophomore campaign. He is the 3rd highest graded pass rusher among all defensive tackles in the game. He has a pass rush grade of 85.5. That is 5th among 198 defensive linemen, an overall grade of 76.8. That is 12th among defensive linemen. He has 6 quarterback hits. That's 6th in the NFL among defensive tackles. And his pressures, 23 of them. That is also top 10. 8th to be specific. Jalen Carter has the ability to take over games, crashing the interior of the pocket, demanding so much attention, and he can win in a variety of ways. Bull rush, power rush, swim move, quickness, bulldozing offensive lineman. I think he's going to end up being a very special player. And like some of these other players, our eyes are not lying to us. And then there's Nakobe Dean lastly. Nakobe Dean is playing really good ball. Against the Buccaneers, he missed 5 tackles. The results to start the year were Jekyll and Hyde, up and down. During this winning streak, too, it is not a coincidence that the Eagles have won 3 games in a row with their defense playing really well. Like, this defense is bringing it, and it's really helped Philadelphia here. And in the middle area of the field at that second level, Nakobe Dean, he has been playing really quality football against the Bengals. He had 9 tackles, 1 TFL, 1 quarterback hit, and 1 fumble recovery. Now, he's still missed some tackles from time to time, and that's something that he's going to need to work on. But instincts, reading and diagnosing plays, being around the football, putting his hat on the ball carrier, and having impactful plays, whether it be a TFL, a sack, a fumble recovery. It seems like he causes a lot of destruction. And Nakobe Dean and Zach Bond, the development of those 2 players is why the Eagles moved on from Devin White, because they really liked what they saw. And don't be surprised if Zach Bond lands a contract extension at some point during this year so that the Eagles can get him at a good rate and lock him up. He was an outside linebacker and a pass rusher for New Orleans. He had never played off-ball linebacker before. And under Vic Fangio, this is the beauty of coaching, putting your players in a position to succeed. He looks to be the real deal. Highest graded linebackers in Week 8 among all NFL linebackers, Zach Bond, Nakobe Dean. Bond, 91.3. Nakobe Dean, 90.7. There were reps where he was guarding Jamar Chase on Sunday, and he was able to lock him down. And Joe Burrow, upon looking at the tape, was like, Nakobe Dean is on Jamar Chase? Vic Fangio mixing looks. I'm really confused. He had to throw it away on one of those reps. Let's hope that the youngsters keep shining, because if they do, you know that Jeffrey Lurie and Howie Roseman are going to devote financial and draft capital to the offensive side of the football. Philadelphia is very loaded on the offensive side of the football. So if the defense coincides with that, the Eagles have already been, since the turn of the century, one of the most successful teams in the NFL, a sustainable, consistent winner. That trend will continue. That's a beautiful thing. If you're still hanging out here with me, give me a real one down below. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to give me a follow on social media. I put out a bunch of Eagles clips on X and Instagram. It's at Chase_Senior on both.